Okay, so today we have the lovely Kaitlyn who has come to the end of her journey with us here at Cherrybank Dental Spa in Edinburgh. So Kaitlyn, first of all, how did you find us?
I actually put on my Instagram story a little question and answer thing saying that I was looking into doing Invisalign. I'd had braces in the past when I was younger, but same old story, when you're only like 13 years old you don't really use your retainer. So I was looking to try and find like somebody who could do Invisalign, and Cherrybank came up as the highest recommended place.
Okay, so when you came to see us you would have met our treatment coordinator Tammy. How did you find your experience from the start?
I thought it was great. It was actually quite nice that it wasn't very formal and it was like in a different room. You're not sitting in a dentist chair talking through the whole procedure, actually in a separate room, which feels more like a little cosy office. So you can like really get into the nitty gritty of what you like about your teeth, what you don't like. You can like privately discuss like the finance side of things and what you want to do with your teeth and the end goal. Because I think Tammy kind of went through with me every possible option, and I think sometimes you hear about things like veneers and everything like that and you think, oh, I would never be able to afford that. But getting to actually hear how things are done here in like a more private space felt a bit more like homely, so it was great.
So I was lucky enough to then take you on, and when we first met we had a really good discussion about what it was you didn't like about your teeth and what you wanted to achieve. So we took a scan, we took some photos. How did you find that experience in terms of being able to see your teeth on the 3D scanner and showing you what we could potentially achieve? And did that make a decision easier?
Yeah, I think it definitely did help. I think it's hard to imagine what the end goal will look like, but at the same time, what was on the screen, I feel like was just like a lower version of what's happened now. Like I don't even think it, like it's almost so much better, but at least it gave you an idea of like, oh, this is worth going through the whole, because I think a little thing that can be daunting with Invisalign is hearing like, oh, you've got 28 weeks of retainers, and you're like, that's a long time, but seeing the end sort of result, you're like, well, it's worth it, and I'm going to put myself through that commitment. So I think it definitely helps getting to see the whole 3D scanners and everything, and it's quite smart to see your teeth on a little rotation like that.
Yep, so then we started on your Invisalign journey. How did you find wearing the Invisalign aligners?
At the beginning, I did have a bit of difficulty in the sense of like speech and just wearing them all the time, and also like you have to really be cautious of like eating, drinking, everything like that. But I think after, I would say honestly, after maybe 3 weeks, that it just became your routine. That was what you were doing every single day, and you only ever felt discomfort when you swapped over to a new retainer, because obviously they felt a bit tight. I was changing every single week, so for maybe the first 2 days you'd maybe feel a little bit tight, but after that you were absolutely fine. I think a lot of people think that it's a lot of commitment, but it becomes your life almost to wear retainers. It feels weird not wearing retainers. And they're so discreet. I remember at the time the HR lady at my work, she asked me if I'd started my Invisalign journey yet, and I had said I was like, I'm 3 months in, and she was like, what? I was like, I've been wearing these for the last 3 months, how could you not tell? She was like, honestly, I never even clicked. So they are extremely discreet, so I think that is a massive bonus.
So all in all, including COVID, it's taken us about a year to get to here, so it would have been less than that if it wasn't for those reasons. At the end of the Invisalign treatment, we decided we were going to do a little bit of gum lifting and do some composite bonding. How did you find that?
A lot easier than it sounds. I think initially when I thought, oh, I'm going to have to laser my gums off to make it look better, I was a bit scared, and it was like probably the only thing this entire journey that I've actually been like, oh, I don't really want to do that. But it was the easiest process in the world. You get obviously a little bit of general anesthetic and you don't feel a single thing, and you don't even smell anything because the numbness went up to my nose, so I was sitting there completely unaware of what was going on. And also the recovery for the gum contouring was so easy. It was just kind of like almost having a bit of a tender gum, like if you've got an ulcer or anything, that's exactly how the pain feels. But other than that, it's completely worth it because it made a massive difference.
And then we finished off with a little bit of tooth whitening and then the composite bonding. So talk us through your whitening process and then what the composite bonding entailed, and how did you find the whole process from start to finish?
The whitening was an adjustment only because it can be slightly sensitive. I'm very much like a cold drink type person, so adjusting to that was a little bit like of a a teething issue, but after that it was totally worth it, seeing the results of how much brighter my teeth were looking and just day to day. And again, it's just like Invisalign, you end up getting used to it and it becomes part of your routine. And the composite appointment was about 2 hours long, and I actually think I fell asleep at part of it. I couldn't believe that amount of time had like went past when I woke up. But yeah, no, it was absolutely fine, and just the results that like they can do is unbelievable. Like, you go in with like your teeth that you think, oh yeah, these look good already, but then you leave and you're like, oh my god, what a difference. So it's totally worth it. I would recommend it to anyone that's doing the Invisalign process. It just, I think it puts the cherry on top for what you want.
So how would you rate your smile at the start, from when you first came to see us, to your smile now? So out of 10, what would you say you were at the start, and how do you feel about it now? Do you feel more confident about your smile now?
Yeah, I think at the start I used to think I didn't have that bad a smile. I was like, which I didn't, because I mean everyone's different. Everyone can like, some people don't ever really see an issue with their teeth ever, but in the job I worked in, when I worked in fashion, I was around people constantly who had veneers and had perfect smiles, so I was like becoming quite cautious of mine. So I'd probably rate it at the beginning like a 4. And then towards the end, I'd definitely say it's a strong 10. Probably better than, the results are better than what I thought they were going to be, just purely because from what I had before to what it is now, it's just night and day. So yeah.
Okay, so what finance options were made available to you, and what did you end up going for?
So when I first had my chat with Tammy, she was very sort of like candid about everything and let me know and sent me over all the price lists so I could have a proper think about things. And I opted to go directly through Cherrybank with my finance. It means that the bank will need to get involved and it doesn't affect any other rating. It's completely just with the dentist practice, and I think that's almost reassuring in a way, because if anything's ever happening, you just literally need to call up and explain what's going on, and you can either like pay off a large payment or you can split up your payments even smaller over however long you feel that you need to do it. So it's almost like a trust thing between like the patient and the practice, which I think is a massive thing, because a lot of people probably want to get stuff done, either whether it be cosmetic for like cosmetic purposes or because they need something done, and if they can't afford it they'll probably opt to not do it in general. And I think a massive sort of like safety blanket was the finance option. And that's probably what I've recommended to people more so when people come to me about Cherrybank, is the fact that like there's no pressure, you can pay it off, it's going to get done at the end of the day, no one's chasing you for that money, it's nothing scary. So definitely, I mean if you can pay it off in one go, you can pay it off in one go, but I mean I would definitely say opt for the finance direct through Cherrybank.